Thank you very much, Dr. Reed. Most times people just call her Carolyn and don't quite get it that she's Dr. Reed. My team, headed here by the acting permanent secretary, Mr. David Dobson, and I see my chairman of the TEF and the executive director of TEF, and I see the ED of TPD Co, and I see the director of tourism and the ED of JAMVAC, and wow, what an array of senior leadership from the ministry. And I see Mrs. Dyer, the North Coast manager for JTB, and then I see all my friends in virtual land, at home or in offices or wherever, smiling and saying yes. And I see all my health and wellness aficionados, as we call them, who are all locked into the finer things that are so important to help us to be safe. And it's a good word, to be safe. But I left the best wine for the last, if you'll allow me to use that metaphor, and to especially greet and commend the president of the JHTA, who just spoke a while ago, and to apologize to him for not being able to hear all of his speech, because I was on RJR with Orville Taylor talking about this while he was speaking, but I got the last segment of the speech. And I tell you, if the first segment was as good as the last, I know it was a remarkable speech. And what I liked about what he was saying is that he gave a sense of that alignment to what we are talking about in tourism and how the new tourism is going to emerge, and why it is that we have to have seminars like these and teachings like we're doing and sessions like we are going to have in the future to talk about what the new tourist is going to look like. And I had a little bit to say on radio a while ago about that. We use big words like psychographic profile of the market and all that kind of thing. You know, just say, exactly, and talk about demographics. And Jamaica introduced a new demographic in tourism that we call Generation COVID, Gen Z, which is really the collapsing of all those profiles that we had known before. The boomers, Generation X's, Y's, millennials, all of them are now going to be one demographic that is driven by safety, destination assurance. And that's another term that we have coined here in Jamaica that we're now building a policy around, that we actually brought the University of George Washington University leaders to come to sit with us to have a discussion and also to develop destination assurance, not just as a strategy, but as a policy, because the world is moving towards safety as the standard, and health security is a big part of that whole safety. And so we will have more to talk about it. It's not going to be a cheap exercise. We have to invest in destination assurance, and the return on investment has to be ensured. And so we will have to look at how we are going to work with our visitors for the future to help us to have full destination assurance. And essentially what that is a little bit of what Mr. President was saying. He was saying things like the confidence that a visitor must have, that when he steps off the plane and he breathes, it's clean, fresh air. That's security. That when he steps on the tarmac, it's not going to roll away from him, the stairs are going to be firm and he will walk safely. That when he gets into the airport, he's not going to be inundated by flies and he sees vermins and all sorts of creepy crawling things that are unsafe. And that when he actually goes into the vehicle that is taking him to the hotel, it's a safe, clean, secure vehicle that is taking him there. And then when he gets on the roads are properly laid. The signage is there. So if he has to go around a corner, he expects the corner, he sees it before he gets there. But then, if the worst happens, like an accident or anything, there's a trauma center down the road that he can quickly go into, and there are good doctors and nurses and proper medical facilities. And then when he goes into the hotel and he wants a glass of water, the confidence that when he drinks that water, it's safe and there are no diarrheal issues to follow from it. That's what destination assurance is all about. And that's what is going to make your destination in the future, and indeed from now on, sought after, and people will pay for it. Because that's a new way. And they also want to know that when they come here, they can have coverage. So if anything happens to them, they don't have to find new money to pay because they are covered already. And that very act does two things. One, it gives them the sense that they are secured and covered, but it also does something for the destination. It removes from the destination the cost burden of caring for them in the event that anything happens. And that's a very important thing, especially for small, highly tourism-dependent countries like Jamaica and us in the Caribbean, but worst of all, who are weakly resourced and whose population presents a challenge for us to even manage in terms of the crisis and the pandemic that you have. So I think that it is fair that tourism is going to be sharing in the overall management of the COVID pandemic everywhere, but particularly in small countries such as Jamaica, where we are highly resource-starved and where the demand for health care is great. And in a pandemic, it is a difficult call because you don't know who next, who is beside you, and what happens with what is around you. So I made those points preliminarily to give the sense that you are right, Mr. President, and that we have to think through this process. We have to innovate. We have to find new ways of ensuring that we are the destination of choice because we are the safe destination. We are the healthy destination. We are the destination that is concerned about the physical and mental well-being of everyone, including our visitors who come to our shores. So it's a remarkable day today, in fact, and it is for us here in the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Enhancement Fund in particular, the continuation of a process that we think is vital to creating a better understanding of how to take care of ourselves. Because in taking care of ourselves, we'll be able to take care of our guests and our friends and others. And so the principle of health and wellness is bounded in that whole notion of care. And I'm tempted, Kyle, to mention Jamaica Cares. But we'll leave that for another discussion with the Director of Tourism and his team when we get to that post. But being able to indicate that we understand how to take care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is to understand the healthy purpose that we must serve. And taking care of ourselves is not sometimes an automatic action. It has a lot to be inspired by knowledge. So it's important for us to know how to take care of ourselves. And when we take care of ourselves, we will be well. So when we are well, we are healthy. In the context of all of that, then, we have a responsibility to help to educate. We have a responsibility to help to guide. And we have also a responsibility to create capacity to enable wellness and healthy living. And so we have spent a lot of resources on this. And it's not just that we have set up a department in the ministry that deals with linkages, and within that, health and wellness is an important element. It's not just that. It's also to go through the process of identifying what are the touch points for health and wellness and how we can ensure that all the practitioners of this whole new area of economic activity can be properly empowered. So the empowerment is not just about providing loan funding through the Exim Bank or through the Jamaica National Small Business, but the empowerment is also making sure that standards, first of all, are established, that quality control is recognized, and that there is certification for compliance. So we want to make sure that every spa in Jamaica, for example, is certified. That every spa has a response to the standards that are set. And that we can go with confidence that the spas are fit for purpose. And then we go beyond the spas, because a lot of time we see that health and wellness is not just about how the body is treated at a point in time with oils and other kinds of nutraceutical and pharmaceutical applications, but also what is happening in our gyms. What is happening when we now come to build muscles, to build strength? Because the spas do one thing for you, but the gyms do another. And that security, that when you use these equipment, they are not going to malfunction, and they are not going to cause pain and strain for you. That's an important element of safety. So standards are important to be maintained, and quality control to be appreciated. And then you go beyond that now to look at, okay, so what are these wonderful nutraceuticals, and what are these wonderful juices and jams and jellies and so on that we're going to be putting together to build the nutritional security and the standards and the quality control again. And so I wanted to make the point that the responsibility of ensuring that we are a healthy and well society is on all of us. And I just indicated a while ago 3 or 4 of the segments that help to facilitate building health and wellness. But I could go on and name several others. Because this whole business of ensuring that you and I are safe, healthy, and well is not the single responsibility of an individual. It's a collective responsibility of all of us. And I think that it is a well-positioned policy that the government has pursued in establishing a health and wellness ministry, and where we actually have a minister of state that is assigned to wellness, as we have a minister of health and wellness. And it indicates the significance that we place on a healthy community, a healthy society, and a healthy person. So from the point of view of tourism, health and wellness is now at the centerpiece. It's now at the focal point of travel and safe travel. All of us are now being guided by protocols, health protocols. And I think that perhaps for the last 100 years, health and wellness has never had the preeminence of place in the global scheme of things as it now has. The airlines are not moving unless the health protocols are in place. The hotels are not opening unless the health protocols are in place. The transportation systems are not functioning. The restaurants are not opening. No service area is operational without the health protocols. And I just want to let you know that even the parliament of the land is not happening without the health protocols. Because as leader of the house, I had to look at relocating to Gordon House from where we are now. And I had to put up sneeze screens. And you're going to see them before every single member of the house who sits. There will be a screen before them. And everybody has to wear their mask and so on and so on and so forth. And we have reconfigured in there for social distance. Orville Taylor says you must say now physical distance. 3 feet minimum. So we are talking now about how important health and wellness is now going to become in enabling a destination that becomes desirable. And today's seminar hopefully will explore some of these areas and will help to build not just the capacity of all of us to do more and to offer more, but also to build the resolve, because that's very important. That we must see the need and develop the resolve and the will to be healthy and well, and therefore do the things that we ought to do to ensure so. So it is an important economic stream as well, and we could be remiss in our comments to you all at home and everywhere else if we didn't make note of that. Because while it is valuable in terms of building your health and wellness and your frame and your longevity and so on, it also is an economic stream. And so the management of your business is very important. And I hope that in the discussions in the seminar, some emphasis will also be placed on that. Because it is not a good thing in this time to be losing business or indeed be unable to manage your business, and so you lose investment, and then your life becomes miserable, and then you defeat the whole purpose of health and wellness. So spend some time to understand the economic value of this process and the returns that you must make and how you must carefully be a careful steward of your business arrangements. In closing, I want to really extol the contribution of Carolyn Riley and the team at the TEF. I must tell you that when we established the 5 networks, of which health and wellness is one, we were not sure how it would all pan out. We found a good team. Dr. Henry Lowe chaired the subcommittee for health and wellness, and we tried to touch base with all the partners and players across Jamaica. I want to use the opportunity because I know a lot of them are listening, and some of them feel that we have not utilized them sufficiently, Carolyn. I want to use this medium to say that, look, we are coming for everybody because we want all our partners in the business to be embraced in this process. Because if indeed we are able to build a niche that will become the basis on which travel is to be predicated, and we do it better than everybody else. As you know, Jamaica punches so much above our weight. We do it better than everybody else. We do it in what is now being called the Blue Ocean style, right, Director of Tourism? That is, we do it better than everybody else. And we also are doing things that nobody else is doing. So we're not competing. We are standing out there offering the best at all times. Thank you for sharing this morning. And remember, in Blue Ocean style, let us be distinctive, different. Let us move in a comparative way and not in a competitive way. Thank you.